Well, let's be honest, this is going to be the final leg of my career. We've got enough time for a season, maybe two. Try and win one more Champions League, because that is what this is all about, winning the Champions League. We're probably not going to win it 3 times with 3 clubs now, so we're going to settle on doing it for a second time. And what better club to do it than the, in real life, reigning European champions. But before we do that, there's a couple of things we need to deal with, and that is, where are we going to live? And using the £120,000 a week we will be earning at Manchester City, we could borrow up to £34 million and a bit of change. That's a lot of money. Which is just as well, because I really don't think we're going to be making this commute that we have available to us. I don't think that looks like a lot of fun. So apparently if we wanted to drive, it would be 3 hours 40 minutes. I mean, I don't drive, but that would be a long time. 6 hours 50 minutes on the train. I don't know whether that's actually accurate, because I'm currently recording this at midnight. So if we wanted to, let's say we wanted to depart at 9 in the morning, let's do that. Let's be fair. Let's say we wanted to depart. In fact, let's make it 8 o'clock in the morning. How long would it take us then? Let's have a look. 5 hours 34. That didn't really make it that much better. To walk, it would take 3 days, and then it would take the average human being 19 hours in order to cycle there. Flights are not available, so it does look like we're going to be moving house. And as one might expect, it's actually quite difficult to spend that amount of money on a house. Again, just a reminder, £34 million. And the highest I found on Zoopla is 4.5, and that's an off-market opportunity that I can't even see properly. So, yeah, it's a bit of a difficult one. I mean, I've got a 7-bed detached house for sale for £2.25 million. So what I'm thinking is, I can get some property going at the same time, so I can buy some of these while I go and move into my swanky new £2.25 million 7-bedroom detached house. I mean, it doesn't look that great from the outside, I have to say, but it's rather large. I like the photos of the outside of it. I mean, this feels like the mystery house on Escape to the Country. I've got no idea what it looks like inside. All I can see is the outside of it, where there's some fencing. But then I have got, how much money? £32 million to do the inside up with whatever I want. So maybe we'll do some interior decorating. I mean, we could always go with a 4-bed townhouse, and we could downsize a little bit. But again, no photos. But we do have a floor plan, which it's not letting me actually look at the moment, which again is a bit disappointing. I feel a bit let down. I feel very let down, actually. Let's have a look at another letting agent, because at the moment we're being let down. It really has proven to be quite difficult to spend this money, but I think we might be getting somewhere with some properties. Although, I mean, this is bringing me up in Southampton. I don't want to go to Southampton, but we're getting one that's actually in Manchester there, another one over here. But again, nowhere near the amount of money that we're earning. So, I mean, just purely going on looks, this looks quite cute. Stockport, I think, isn't too far away, but let's go somewhere that's actually definitely in Manchester. So this looks very cute. Let's go for this one, shall we? Let's have a look at it. My God, my internet's taken a while to load. There we go. I mean, that looks very, very cute. It's even got its own ice cream van. I don't know if that is an ice cream van. It looked like one, but look at that. It's got banister, but it doesn't have anything in the middle. So arty, so fancy. I mean, look at that. I mean, I need that blanket. That's a sensational blanket. I don't want to sign up for anything Purple Bricks. Get out of here. Oh, look at that. That looks really nice. It looks really cozy, doesn't it? Nice size living room. I mean, look at the space for an office chair there. That's fantastic. That is a very disappointing bathroom for such a property, I'm not going to lie. And you can see the ice cream van. But a lovely little table here that folds out. Do you know what? I think this is going to be the last club of the save, I think we can look at this as our retirement home. We're downsizing a little bit. We're just kind of condensing everything down. I think that's the right thing to do. Very much think that that is the right thing to do. So, with that in mind, it's time for us to actually get started at the club. There's one thing we need to do before we properly get started, and that thing, very simply, is this. Don't know if I got timing on that right, but it's that. Time for us to move on. Welcome to Manchester City. How you doing, evening everybody and welcome to part 1 of Club 5 here on MyCareer on FM23. What is going to be the last club of MyCareer with one goal and one goal only. It is to win the Champions League. Hopefully we're going to do it in 1 to 2 seasons because that's probably all the time we've got left with the save. And if you're excited to see whether we can do that at this brand new club, then do not forget to leave a like on the video for me and subscribe so you don't miss any of the nonsense coming out of this space right here. Yes, Club 5 Part 1. So if you haven't watched the save up until this point, there's a lot of it. Go back and watch some. But yeah, we are now at the 5th club in the journey. So far, without giving too much away, we have won titles. We have won the Champions League once. The aim of the save was only to win the Champions League once, but the bonus objective was to win it thrice with thrice number of clubs. We've only won it once, and that was with Southampton. We couldn't get the job done in Chelsea. We did get to the Champions League final, but we got pipped to the post by, of all clubs, Manchester City. Manchester United, sorry. We're at Manchester City, and the aim is to try and go one better with Manchester City here. United did it last season. We're going to try and paint the town sky blue this year. But I'm very excited to get in because Manchester City are a club who, okay, take real life stuff out of it. They're an exciting club with the amount of players and the amount of finances that they have. So in terms of the club that we have inherited, it is a club that you could argue is probably in transition in terms of domestic leagues. Now, at the start of the game cycle, 2023-2024, finished second, bunch of first places in a row. We at Southampton then displaced them. So they finished 4th, 6th, 5th, 4th, 6th, 3rd and 5th. So they've been in and around European places. But the points, I mean, the highest points they've had since they last won the title is 80. Now, a couple of seasons before that, they weren't very high. So they have struggled for a good while. Last season finishing 5th. I don't know if they're actually in the Champions League. I feel like they will be. I feel like they did sneak in. I just need to double check. I can't remember exactly where to go. It's in general, I think. They did get into the Champions League just about. So we are lucky that we've got a Champions League team. But the squad we have inherited, my goodness me, there is some talent in here. Haaland is still here. He's not very happy. We'll do what we can to keep him, but he would fetch a pretty penny if someone wanted to come in for him. But at 32 years old with natural fitness of 20, he's still sensational. Look at the state of him. How he's finishing is not 20, I don't know, but look at the absolute state of that. My goodness me, I am very, very excited to get underway with Erling Haaland in the team. I haven't used him this year. He would be great. Next best player, someone we're very familiar with, Marco Cucchiara. It's nice to see him again. I don't think Man City have got the best out of him. We will be trying to do that, but he was great for us at Southampton. And the big move just as we were on our way out the door, and it's really nice to see him again. And then a player I've had my eye on for some time, Luis Alberto, a playmaker, great passer of the ball. I've admired him from afar. He's ripped us apart at numerous occasions. He is a superb midfielder. And then Ruben Diaz is still one of the best players of the club. 19 for natural fitness, still 4-star, 4-star. He's going to be at the end of his career very, very soon, I think. But he's still here at the moment. He'll be a useful squad player to have. Don't know if he'll be starting all the time, but he'll certainly be in and around the squad. Jude Bellingham as well, 30 years old now, in the prime of his career. We obviously know him from our England duty. Never went to Real Madrid in this universe. Instead came to Manchester City. And, well, I mean, he is a fantastic player. Finding his position is going to be interesting because we've struggled with that for England. So he's going to be in there with Luis Alberto. But Bukayo Saka's a weird one. I mean, he's 31 years old. He's a very, very good player. But I don't know whether I want to use him necessarily. I think we'll have to make a judgment on him. I know that sounds insane, but I'm just not sure about him because he didn't blow me away when I've used him for England. Someone who did, though, is Phil Foden, 33 years old, natural fitness of 17. He's going to be starting to wind down at some point soon, but we know for England he's been great, and he's a one-club player. We're going to keep him. He's going to be, I was going to say our Mason Mount. That's an insult to Phil Foden, quite frankly. He's going to be sensational. Alvaro Ferrer is another midfield option, another defensive option. He's fine, he's okay, but he's the next best player apparently. Now, in terms of potential, as well as the players I've already mentioned, we've also got Jonathan Juarez, 20 years old, great attacking option, 2.5-star, made 6 appearances, scored 1 goal, looks very, very good. And Andre, central defender, only 2 stars, but he's got 4.5 stars worth of potential. Might learn him out this season. I think that might be the thing to do, so he probably won't end up getting to use him. But we've got a few other good players in and around the squad as well. But we've also got a chunky squad. So if we take off the players who are not at the club, and if we do a little bit of a search, say search, I don't know why I said that, 27 people, we can trim that squad down and we can add to our monstrous transfer budget of £189 million. That's very exciting. In terms of what the club actually want from us, let's have a look at the season expectations. So they want us to reach the quarter-final of the Champions League. They don't want much. Challenge for the Premier League. I think I said that we could do that. Reach the semi-final of the FA Cup and reach the third round of the Carabao Cup. I think that's all perfectly reasonable. We need to reach the quarter-final of the Champions League, though. We need to be challenging for the title. I think we've got more than a good enough squad to do that, looking at the team. I think just looking at it, it looks fantastic. I mean, looking at the players who we're probably not going to use, though, we go to the players who aren't very good, who are on the older side. I mean, there's a few million we can raise, definitely, from some of them. And even some of the players we've got, like Joshua Kimmich, I mean, wouldn't get much for him, but we'd get the wages off the book. Oscar Glock, I think we'll get rid of. Jusic, I think we'll get rid of him because we know he's a decent player, but not necessarily as decent as we want. One player I'm not too sure about is Rosenbrick. He is a decent goalkeeper. However, I kind of want to bring Dimitri in. So if we can move him on, bring in Dimitri, I will be very, very happy. But we know Kuchiyara is going to be in the team. We know Haaland's going to still be around. Unless he really throws a boo-boo face, then we might have to consider something. But at the moment, my word, what a player he is. In terms of happiness, though, let's just double check his happiness. Why is he unhappy? At the moment, he's not. At the moment, actually, all is okay. But we've got time to impress Erling. I mean, he is going to be starting for us. He is a legendary striker. I have no plans of replacing him unless he wants to go. Anthony Gordon, by the way, is a player we're definitely going to get rid of. But the thing is, a lot of the players we're going to be getting rid of also have high wages. I mean, Erling Haaland is on another planet in terms of his wages. But Kimmich, Jusic, Glock, they're all on 100, 115, 140,000 pounds. Rosenbrick, if we get rid of him, 275, 205 for Saliba. This Wally guy, Wahi, why is he here? 205,000 pounds. We'll get rid of him, I think. Bukayo Saka, if we get rid of him, that's a good amount of money. I mean, we have to be careful of the trained at club players because there's not that many of them. I mean, this guy probably will do well. Backup goalkeeper, he'll be okay, and he'll probably do a job as well. So we've got a few of them. Matthew Hogan we'll probably get rid of. We don't really need him. But I think we're really set up to do well here. We've got a couple of players out on loan as well. Let's have a quick look at the under-21s. What talent do we have? Nothing spectacular, but some decent ones. What about the under-18s as well? Let's have a nose at them too. A couple of superstars. I mean, again, we're not going to see the benefit of that, but it's nice to know that they exist. Right, I am going to go away. I'm going to put a team together. I'm going to see what our strengths and weaknesses are in the squad, and then we'll have a look at transfers because it's the 1st of July. We've come at the right moment. We have got a full pre-season ahead of us. Let's see what we can do with it. Okay, I've had a look through the squad and we've got a good starting place, much better than we had at Chelsea, so I'm a bit excited if I'm honest. So, putting an 11 together has been quite easy. Putting a substitute 11 has been quite easy as well. There are a couple of positions I do think we need strengthening in. There's one that we definitely need a player in. There's also a couple that is just preferences. We definitely need a right back. Over here we have only got one right back, Wilfried Singo, who is 32 years old. We definitely need to replace him, or at least bring someone in to play in that role. But that's the only position where we really struggle with someone to be in the squad. I mean, we have got Vinicius Tobias, but he's 29 years old. He's a Brazilian who's never played for Brazil. We've put him up for sale already. Someone's already come in for him. Quite happy to let him go, if I'm honest. He's not gonna cut the mustard here, as they say. Other than that, though, the squad's great. But there is one area that is very, very, very noticeable when you look at the star ratings. Not that they are the be-all and end-all, but the defence is definitely not the area. Now, Ruben Diaz, veteran defender, he's definitely going to be staying because he has been sensational for Man City in real life. And I think if we have a look at him, I think we'll probably find he's been pretty good for them in this game as well. Not necessarily every single season. He's had a couple of rough ones in the last couple of years, but he is on the older side. We will be using him more as a rotation option, I think. Probably for big games, things like that. But if his pace or lack of becomes an option, then he will be a rotation option. But he is the club captain. He will be remaining the club captain at 36 years old. On with that as well, we've got Alvaro Ferrer, who is a potential 4-star defender. He looks really good. I can see why they let Derica go, because this guy kind of does the same job. I just hope he's a bit more consistent than Lubos Derica was. We've also got Gentle Dev Wild on the bench. Belgian. Sorry, Belgian fans and Dutch fans. I don't know where that mistake came from because I've already looked at him. Belgian international, 18 caps, 21 years old. got 4-star potential. He's already played 63 times for the club. He's a model citizen. He's the kind of player who I want. Now, I want to try and get rid of dive into tackles because that feels dangerous. But the only thing with him is he's quite on the short side, as is Ruben Diaz. So I'd like to bring in a big boy central defender. Now, we do have Willie Saliba, who is 6'4". He's also 32 years old. Now, I feel like I can't keep him and Diaz, but Diaz is a club legend. I feel like if I'm losing one of them, it's going to be Saliba. We'll hang on to him if we need to, but I'd like to trade Saliba for a younger, taller option. Gee, I wonder where we've seen players like that before. So yeah, that's the one thing I do want to do. Left back as well. We've got Desuninic. I can't say. I've been saying his name wrong ages. Desuninic. Mark Desuninic. Jesus Christ, dude. Mark Desuninic. We're going to be looking to move him on. And probably Anton Markov as well. But we probably could move Markov on and keep Desuninic at the club as a backup option. I don't think he's going to be starting for us. At one point, he was looking like he was going to be a superstar. Another Belgian. We might hang on to him, but relegate him to a backup. And then move Markov on. And then bring in a left back at that point. So we need 2 full-backs. Probably a centre-back as well. Goalkeeper-wise. Callum Petrie, I feel like he's a player who I'm quite happy to keep at the club. He'll do as a backup goalkeeper. He's 2.5 star. That's fine. We saw what James Trafford could do for us. But Rosenbrick, I think I might upgrade because it's very easy to upgrade him, I think. Yes, he's got 21 caps for Brazil. He's a decent enough goalkeeper. But I want a top-class goalkeeper. And again, I think we know where we can find one of those. So that's not a given. We might stick with Rosenbrick for this season, but we'll see what happens. Now, we get into the midfield. We've got a plethora of players. Now, Alberto and Bellingham are probably going to be my starting two. Bellingham's just turned 30. Alberto's 26. That's a peak midfield. I'm quite happy to keep them like that. Cucciara's the attacking midfielder. You guys know how I feel about Marco Cucciara. I don't know why I'm doing that just because he's Italian, but I am. You know how I feel about him. He's staying in the club. He's sensational. Now, one thing I do want to do is get in a few new wingers. At the moment, our attacking trio option across here is Bojan Krsic, who is a 21-year-old Serbian. 5 caps for Serbia. He's got 3.5 star potential. He's decent enough, but I would be quite happy to sell him for the right price. We've also got... Oh, God, didn't want to do that. We've also got on the other side, this guy, Nicky Rothel. Potential 4-star player. I would quite happily keep this guy, but I think I'd like to loan him out. But he would be a decent player to have in the team. And then the other backup is Oscar Glock, who in this universe is formerly of Liverpool. Played about the same amount of games for Man City as he did for Liverpool. Scored about the same amount of goals. I would say he's consistent, if not spectacular. If we have to keep him, it's fine. But at 29 years old, I'd like to upgrade him for someone who maybe is a bit younger, who could be a good rotation option for Cucciara. Then we get the big man up top, Erling Haaland. I mean, he's not going anywhere at all this season, I don't think. I would quite like to hang on to him. I think we will hang on to him. He's not happy at the moment, but there's nothing specific that he's not happy about. So hopefully we'll hang on to him. And then his backup is a guy called Jonathan Juarez, who's a potential 5-star wonder kid Argentinian. Yeah, we don't need another striker because this guy will absolutely fill Erling's boots. He's only scored 1 goal, but that's in 6 appearances. I think he's going to grow fantastically. But any issues with him, Foden and Cucciara can both play a striker as well. Now, I haven't really talked about Foden and Saka. Foden, we know, has been sensational for us at England. He is going to remain here as is Saka at 31. I haven't got on with Saka for England. I haven't used him very much, but the times I have used him, I've not gone on with him. So at 31 years old and with natural fitness of 16, we've probably got another season or 2 in him. But I'm actually thinking we move on the 2 backup wingers, bring in a couple of younger wingers, and see if they can overtake one or the other. Because Foden can easily drop into being a backup central attacking midfielder here. He can easily do that. Obviously, Cucciara can't do that role. But we have Foden who could do a bit of backup on both. So that's what I'm thinking. And then this guy's just here because he's got good potential, Andre. We're going to loan him out, but he looks like he could be sensational at some point in the future. At 21 years old, he looks great already. So, order of business for transfers. Definitely a right back, definitely a left back. Those are the main ones. If we can then move enough players on, another central defender, another potentially attacking midfielder, another winger on each side, maybe a goalkeeper. That's a low priority. And then central midfield I've not really talked about. Alberto and Bellingham are our starters, but the backups probably leave a bit to be desired. Matty Dash, I'm going to struggle not to call him Matty Cash. I'm a Villa fan, so that's going to be a struggle. But Matty Dash, as a defensive-minded midfielder, he can play in Bellingham's role pretty well. The only thing with him is he's not that good. But at 24 years old, he's a Manchester City product from their academy. That's going to help in Europe. I mean, him and Foden are really going to help with that. So I feel like we have to keep him in the team because of that. He can do a job. He's similar to the guy that we had at Chelsea who filled that role in. Came in, did a job for us, wasn't too bad. I mean, his passing's not great, but he's not there to be a passer. He's there to be a ball winner, and he could definitely come into the squad. And okay, he's not Bellingham by any stretch, but at 2.5 star, he'll do the job just enough. Joshua Kimmich is the one I'm a bit worried about. He's a 3-star player. He's 36 years old, I think. 38 years old. I mean, the chances of us moving him on at this point are very slim. We wouldn't get much money for him. But I would like to upgrade him in his position and get a new playmaker in. Half of mine to go to Herald, but he wouldn't be a good defensive-minded playmaker. And I quite like Bellingham being the one getting forward. So we might have to have a play around with those two positions. But the 4-2-3-1, I like we talked about the shape. The 4-2-3-1 suits this squad quite well because of one player, and that's Marco Cucchiara. Cucchiara could play in the middle. He could do the Mazzala job. We did try it at Southampton. It did work at Southampton. But I think he would be much, much better keeping him there. I don't foresee him being a striker. He can do the job. I'd rather him be an attacking midfielder, though. I mean, he wants to be a playmaker. We could experiment with him being the playmaker, but apparently Luis Alberto is a very good playmaker, so I probably will keep him being the guy. So in a dream world, the players that we would move on, realistically, I'm sorry to do this, but Bukayo Saka's one of them. Glock is one of them. Kursic, would we get rid of him? Yeah, probably. Rathel would put out on loan, so let's take him out. Kimmich is one we'd get rid of. And we'd get rid of... We wouldn't get rid of Singo, actually. We'd keep Singo. So we'd probably get rid of Rosenbrick as well. So in a dream world, that's probably what we've got to work with. Let me just put these guys down on the bench just to reflect it. Okay, so this is probably what, in an ideal world, we're getting into the squad. We're getting in a fullback on each side. We're getting in a deep line playmaker. We're getting in another attacking midfielder and a pair of wingers. We're getting another winger, and then maybe another player just to fill in the squad a little bit. And these are the players that we've got to get rid of. Now, we've already put some players up for sale. Anthony Gordon's got bids in. Elia Wahi has already got bids in as well. Vinicius Tobias has got bids in too. So, and I think this guy, even though he's injured, has got bids in as well, actually, Arkovic. So, those guys have already got bids in. I haven't put any of the other guys up for transfer just yet, but we can raise some money with those guys. I mean, Anthony Gordon, if we get in the 11.5 million from Chelsea, if we get in the 50 million from Newcastle, or 34 million, because I think the 34 million is all up front. So, let's say 34 million, 10 million, let's call it 45 so far. 45 plus another 10, 55. Arkovic, let's call it 10 to be reasonable, 65, and that's without any of the other players going up. We'd have potentially £250 million to spend on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players, 8 players maybe. And that's not even thinking about centre-back. We move Saliba on, which I didn't even consider actually. Let me just remove him. But we've got the money to do all of that. But we need to get the business done quickly because the 1st of July... While it's a great time for us to start, it doesn't leave us a lot of time because pre-season is starting now. So we need to get players in to get them going. So I'm going to go away and do that. Hopefully we get some good players in. And we'll see how the season goes. And hopefully we can march on to a Champions League win. I mean, in the first season, that's probably ambitious. But I think we've got enough time to squeeze the second season in. So fingers crossed. And finally, we have some transfers actually over the line. We have got 2 right backs in because, of course, we're going to get 2 players of the same position. But Iraggiori, I'm going to get it down. Iraggiori, the Mexican right back, is in. I mean, apparently he is best as a centre back. I dispute that heavily. With heading of 9 and crossing of 13, I dispute that heavily. He's going to be a right back for us. He could do both, but he's in. We're paying him a lot of money. He's down as an important player, which I believe I agreed he was be a regular starter because you're not going to get ahead of this man. Manuel Jungwirth, 60 caps at 24. This guy's insane. And I'll be honest with you, I might turn this guy into a centre-back, but it would be a waste of 16 crossing. It really would. I mean, the best position would be as a wide centre-back, if I'm being honest, but we're not going to be doing that. We're not going to be doing that at all. He looks like a sensational player, and I'm really, really happy that we've got him in the door. Now, we've just spent £122 million on those players. We've still got £256 million left. Now, granted, we've used a lot of wage budget, so we'll have to shift some over. But, yeah, I think we should be very, very proud of those transfers because that is absolutely sensational. Right, well, Derek Ridley, you can get out of the squad. Emmanuel Jungwirth, you can go straight into it. I mean, straight away he impacts it. I mean, if we put him centre-back, he's already one of the best centre-backs at the club. We're not going to. I'd rather him be... I've just realised I didn't put Saliba up for transfer, actually. I would much rather him stay as a right-back because I think he's sensational as a right-back. But, yeah... That is a good pair of transfers, a very good pair of transfers, and it's also really helped us with the old shirt sale nonsense as well. Saliba is going to be leaving as well. There we go, transfer in. We'll see if Barcelona want to match it, because I think he'd probably rather want to go there. I don't really care about Noah Fink. I don't know who he is. Right, so... Transfer-wise, are we waiting on anything else? We've given up on Dimitru. I've given up on a goalkeeper in general. Rosenbrick is going to get a chance. He finished third in the goalkeeper Golden Glove a couple of seasons ago. Maybe having a good defensive run to him will help. So we're going to focus our attentions elsewhere. So Bayrak, I was trying to sign. Chelsea are just being ridiculous. I mean, that has gone up since the last time I checked it. They want a lot of money for him. So we're probably going to say no, thank you. I've given up on Lethan. I didn't realise Ortels was rejected, actually. So let's go back in for him and make a stupid offer. Let's go 145. Let's just see what happens with that. So we probably need to have another look around at transfers because all the players I was looking at haven't gone through. So I think, again, we're looking at a centre-back, but it's not the end of the world if we don't get one. Actually, if we sell Saliba, it is, so we do need one. A left back, I have been looking at. It has been a real struggle. In fact, did I have a left back on here? Yeah, no, I have got one. Mascarell. Pedro Mascarell is on his way in, even though he's only got 10 tackling. We're bringing him in anyway. We're hoping we can train some tackling into him, but he'll be a great attacking option. And we've still got the Mark over here. Dusuninic. Go with Dusuninic. Dusuninic is here. He can do defending. He's fine. We've got a defensive left back and an attacking left back, so that'll be okay. Wing wise, we do need someone in, I think, on the right hand side. So that's something we still need to do. So see whether we can bring someone in. We know it's not going to be Jay Lethan, but let's see if we can bring someone in who can fill that role. Hopefully, someone good. Okay, more transfers have happened. Lots of money has been spent. Yeah, a little bit. So after the two right backs we signed, we then signed a left back, Pedro Mascarell. I can't remember. Did it actually show? I might have shown you him being signed potentially. I can't actually remember, but either way, we signed him. Very happy with that as a transfer. We've then signed two attack-minded players. Salim Hadji is definitely one for the future. He's a 19-year-old attacking midfielder. He's 2.5-star current ability, 5-star potential. I looked at him at Chelsea. He would have been someone I would have been looking to sign this season, potentially. He's got some room to grow, but he still looks like he's going to be superb in the future. So he's coming, he will get game time over the season. And then we've signed Roman Durica. Not the Durica who we thought, who you might be thinking of from Chelsea. But no, we signed Roman Durica, who is a Slovak international from Spurs, is where we've signed him from. And I think he could be very good. Now, the one thing is, we've signed him as a right midfielder, a right attacking midfielder. He's actually a left attacking midfielder. So we are going to have to play him and train him in order to become that position. But I've got no issue with doing that whatsoever. But that brings our net spend for the season. Sorry, what? Net spend? Is it net spend? We'll just call it spend because our spend for the season to £345 million. Our earnings are 187 million. So what's that? 2 million... 160 million-ish, I think, in terms of how much we've actually spent when you take that off of that. I think something along those lines. But the squad is looking pretty good. Altogether, that's what we're kind of looking like. And again, Dorica is the one that kind of stands out because he's only got half a star at the moment. But we've also got Bukayo Saka who can actually play there. So there is that. Now, in terms of what I want to do, I already said goalkeeper, I think we've written off. We're going to go with Rosenbrick for this season and see how it goes. In terms of what else we want to do, there's two positions, either central midfield or central defence. Now, central defence is my preferred option. However, we are actually lacking someone in the middle at the moment, whereas we do have 4 central defenders. So my heart says go for central defence. My head says go for central midfield. So we'll probably be looking for someone to fill the playmaker role, because at the moment, that's our starting midfield too. And Dash is the guy who will fill in there. Now, having said that, Nicky Rothel, his tackling is not very good. The problem is we need someone with decent tackling in the middle here, I think. But we don't have someone who can do that, which is obviously a bit of a problem. But he can play there, as can Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka can also play in the middle. We could use him as a playmaker if we needed to. Passing's not the best. His vision's okay. His player's okay. We could get away with it. We could definitely get away with it. Probably do the same with Rothel, actually, if we put him in there. But 2-star, actually, no, we really couldn't get away with it. So that is something that we do need to consider as a challenge going forward. But it is what it is. I mean, at the moment, I think we've got 11 players on the bench here. The reason we have is because we've got this guy, Nikojevic, who's one of the youngsters. We brought him up, just giving him some first-team exposure. He has looked pretty good in pre-season, actually. And I want to loan him out, but I actually might just keep him, because I think he'd be a handy squad player to have around the team, possibly. But we might loan him out so he gets a bit more growth. But I think the squad's looking good. We get that extra central midfielder in, again, a playmaker there. I'm pretty happy with that. But we need to find the right one, and we don't have as much money to do it. At the moment, we've got £53 million. Now, in terms of transfers out, I don't know. Have we got any big ones that are on the way out? Yeah, Wilfried Singo is leaving, so we're going to have another 12 million or so. Kursic, no, that's not Kursic. Siric is going to be leaving £13.5 million. So we'll have a decent amount to get one more player at the level that we're looking at. Probably have a play with the wage budget and see what we've got on the market. And we could look for maybe a budget option here and a better option here, or a budget option here, a better option here. When we've got the money to work with, we'll see. But at the moment, that's the team. At the moment, our pre-season schedule has gone like this. Wins all round. We've conceded 4 goals and we've kept 3 clean sheets. It's gone pretty well. We've got 3 friendlies left. I'm going to play the last one at Shakhtar just to get a sense of how the team is actually feeling. I might even do the last 2, actually. We'll get Bury out of the way and then we'll do the last 2. And of course, we open the season against my former employers. And then the 4th game is against Southampton. I mean, the first 2 games are Chelsea and Liverpool. That's horrid. That's absolutely horrid. But yeah, money's been spent. I think it's been spent very well. Financially, the club has still got £200 million in the bank because it's Manchester City. So all is going well so far. Just watch everything implode when we start the season. And that is our central midfielder. Stephen Whittle has signed for us. If you recognise the name, it's because he's been part of our England squad. He's been at Crystal Palace the last however long. Did he come through their academy, actually? It might have come through their academy. I can't actually remember exactly what his origin is. No, it was Birmingham he came through. So he is a Midlands boy, although he came from the wrong part of the Midlands. I mean, actually, he's a Preston boy. So how he ended up at Birmingham, I don't really know. But one of his favourite personnel from giving him his England debut. We actually gave him his debut while he was still in the Championship. He's still got room to grow at 23 years old. 4 caps for England. I think he's going to be an exceptional player at some point, but he's becoming as a backup. He knows he's a backup. I'm really happy with that. And I think that pretty much completes the squad in terms of what we have to do. Now, there's one more thing I would like to do. And that one more thing very much is another central defender. And we do still have money to do that. If I quickly show you, still got £40 million. Now, that's not a massive amount of money. And it certainly won't get us a high-end super defender. However, we do have another £4 million that we're waiting to come in. We're hoping that we can get Bojan Siric back out of the club. I don't know why I accepted a £10 million offer. Let's get rid of that. But hopefully we'll get that money in. So that could bump that up to around £70 million. No, that's way too much. 60 million more like. And a bit more wage budget as well, which would be really, really handy. And once we've done that, if we then get, where is he, William Saliba out the door, at that point we can bring someone in, because that will also gain us some money. In fact, I'm going to put him back up for transfer. I'm going to put him up for, I'm going to put him up for 10. Not a lot of money. Let's see if someone will go in for him. We have to keep Willie Saliba. It is not the end of the world. But I would just like to bring someone else in with a bit more freshness. And there we go, straight away, a couple of offers. Paris Saint-Germain is not where he's going. I mean, they've tried to be cheeky because they know he's going to want to go there. So I'm going to accept Inter and Sevilla, and hopefully he goes to one of those, get those wages off the club as well. And then we can have a look at really spending some decent money on a central defender. And I'd like a tall central defender as well, because all of our central defenders at the moment are 6'1". Nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely fine. But I'm used to having my big, mobile, superstar central defenders. I've also realised that light over there is not on. There we go. That's better. So, yeah, I think we don't have to do anything. We don't have to. But I do kind of want to. I do kind of want to bring in a central defender. I don't know who that would be. But if we don't get it done, it's not the end of the world. Now, I would also like to bring in another cover player, perhaps. You know, I like to have the occasional cover player or two. But I think this squad is more than good enough to do what we want to do with it this season. Why is Luis Alberto there? That makes no sense at all. Where is Dorica? There he is. Pop Dorica back there. What on earth was Luis Alberto doing now? That was utter nonsense. This squad as well needs a little bit of a rejig just to get everyone fit again. The next game is a friendly against Radcliffe Olympique. I will be playing it. And then I will possibly be playing the last friendly of the pre-season as well. But I'm really happy with where we're at. I think we've got a really good squad. It's just whether this squad is going to be good enough to win something this season. Fingers crossed it is. But unless anything else dramatic happens, the next time I'll see you will be before the first game of the season, which is against Chelsea. Because of course it is. See you in a minute. Don't ask me what happened, I really don't know, but the last part of this video has disappeared, same as the part earlier in the video as well. I genuinely don't have any idea. While I've been clearing out my computer, there's obviously been some sort of issue there that I'm absolutely fuming with. But you didn't miss anything. We didn't make any more signings whatsoever. I don't even think we had any more significant outs. I am just having a look at the list now. Obviously, I don't want to show you it because I don't want to spoil you anything. There was nothing major. Bojan Siric did leave for Bayer Leverkusen for £13.5 million. And I think everything else happened after the point that you are currently at. So there you go, you're pretty much updated. But the next game in this save was the opening day against Chelsea. Again, the squad that you've just seen is literally the squad we go into the start of the season with. So fingers crossed we can do well. I obviously already know what happened in that game and in the Liverpool game. Oh boy. Now, have I said that for effect? Or did something dramatic happen? You just have to wait and find out in the next episode, aren't you? But unfortunately, that is how we're going to have to end this episode. So, yeah, a little bit disappointing that that's happened. Apologies for that. I'll try and keep on top of that. Usually, I've gotten pretty good at not doing silly things like this, but them's the breaks. Sometimes it happens. But I will see you for the next episode where we do go against our former employers Chelsea, because apparently random match drawings in the Premier League are not that random. We get the club that we've just left and a club that we've applied for twice in the past. The same as Manchester City, but hey, who am I to say anything? But I will see you for those games. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, do not forget to leave a like on there for me with all of the technical issues. It would genuinely mean a lot if you did. And don't forget to subscribe as well. It's completely free to do so. And you'll make me one very happy chap. I've been Stu. You guys have been awesome. I'll catch you in the next episode. Cheers.